Welcome to the Premier League show. A lot of stuff about Chelsea at the moment.
Yeah.
Obviously.
The way
the world is, and Roman Abramovich, and that continues to dominate the story. There's obviously a lot of takeover stuff going on at the moment. A lot of wealthy people want to get involved with Chelsea. But the Roman Abramovich has been an amazing backer for them. I know we're move aside where it all comes from and all that, but for Chelsea Football Club, he's transformed now, hasn't he, into this super club. And there's a few, the lads on the last fan standing have been discussing whether or not Abramovich leaving will be the end of Chelsea as we know it. So let's hear what they had to say.
The last time there was an owner in the Premier League, a little bit like Abramovich, was Walker at Blackburn. He put money in, and when he stopped putting the money in, look where Blackburn are now. And what will happen with Chelsea is they'll come back into the pack. They'll be like they were before it, like, you know, might win an FA Cup, challenge for top four, but their days of like being serial winners are over, because the fact of the matter is there's no other owner that will do what he's done. If there's a loss of 50 million, he put the 50 million in there. Arsenal have never done that. We'd had to sell players to do that.
Interesting. Lee, judges there from Arsenal Fan TV, was not adamant, but his opinion is Chelsea will drop back into the other, like the teams below them. Still be good, but won't be as powerful.
No.
What the stuff I've read of people who want to buy them this week, I don't really see that happening, do you?
No. Chelsea are now an elite football club. They practically run themselves.
Yeah.
Like, you go to other countries, you think of something like Bayern Munich. Huge football club, half owned by the fans. Like, too big to fail.
Yeah.
Run themselves. Just keep doing what they're doing. And, okay, it's not quite the same because of the way the Premier League works and the way German football works. But you get to that elite stage where, you know, Chelsea won the Champions League. Again, they've won it twice. They won it twice under Abramovich. They don't necessarily need his money anymore. But the thing about it is, they will get an owner now who is equally as wealthy and doesn't necessarily come with the baggage. So therefore, I think Chelsea will actually be in a better position for losing Roman Abramovich. I really, really do. I think they'll get someone in who, listen, as long as it's not like a Glazers situation where they start siphoning off the money, I really think they're going to be in a better position. They're not going to carry that baggage of having Abramovich's name attached to the club. And I just think those kind of clubs now are so far gone from the rest of us that I just don't see how they can fail. And I really don't think in the last maybe 5 years either they've relied on Abramovich's money.
The only thing has been 2 seasons ago they needed money and he just gave them it. And it was 200 million or whatever it was within. But other than that, they are quite self-sustainable, and because they're always up the top. So if they get another ownership group or a fella who owns it who can just do the same and go, well, if there's ever a year where there's a bit of a hole, I'll put it in, or I'll guarantee it, then they'll cover it, won't they?
I suppose
still making money available.
I suppose the big issue for Chelsea going forward is obviously a new stadium. They need a new stadium, and that's going to be very, very costly. And that, in fact, Abramovich wasn't prepared to cover that. He wasn't prepared to, because obviously, you know, Stamford Bridge, can you redevelop it? Doesn't really seem like it. Property prices in West London are ridiculous. So therefore, it was going to cost.
But they almost had the Battersea.
They did, yeah.
Station plant.
But it was going to cost north of $1 billion.
That was then.
Yeah. So a new owner might have to look at that. But then a new owner might come in and go, especially there's talk of Americans, so there's Saudi consortiums. But an American would look at it and think, well, stadiums in America cost, you know, they cost, now they're talking $1 billion upwards anyway, some of these stadiums. So an American owner might think, well, that's just par for the course for where I come from. So I honestly don't think this is going to affect them one bit. I think for an Arsenal fan, it's, you know,
you want it
to.
The same as what you'd be like.
Yeah, you massively want it to fail, but I just don't think it will. I think the results, you know, gone in the Champions League, gone through this week as well. And obviously, you know, they beat Newcastle 1-0 on Saturday. Sunday, sorry, with a last-minute goal.
What a goal, by the way.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant goal by Kai Havertz.
And they keep just rolling on. They keep just rolling on. I know they've got issues with, will they have to play games behind closed doors? You know, the sponsors are demanding to be taken off the shirts. They've got all these little problems, but it might galvanise the players because they just get on with it.
Well, they've got good, top players, haven't they? They've got a top manager. So if they stick together, that ability alone will see them through. Yes, it gets at the summer and then it's a regroup for them, isn't it? Because of whoever takes over. But just right now, all the players and the manager can do is get on with what they're doing. Seeing the thing yesterday, they're going to have a 10-hour round trip to Middlesbrough because they can't fly there because of the restraints on them. But then that's just welcome to football, boys, because lads in League One and League Two and you know, even Middlesbrough will be like, yeah, that's just like a normal away game for us. And that's like that was what football always was before they started flying here, there and everywhere, wasn't it? You got on a coach and you went the day before and that was it. Yeah. So it is what it is, but yeah, they keep rolling on, and I disagree with Lee there. I think that's still that much of an attractive proposition because of where they are. They'll get another wealthy owner and they'll probably just carrying on. So very interesting. They kept themselves in that top three.
Yeah.
The other teams trying to close in and catch them, weren't they? You know, and I thought Chelsea had run it really close this season with having Lukaku and stuff, but he's not quite worked. And the top two are just so consistent, aren't they? That they don't ever seem to slip up. And talking of, you know, Liverpool on Saturday went to Brighton, which, you know, looked like could be a tricky game on paper. Brighton have only won 7 games all season, which is one more.
They haven't won a game since they won at Goodison.
No, and they haven't won a game for about 4 games before that either. So, well, they've only won one more game than Everton, and one more game than Watford, and one more game than, you know, teams like that. So they're not exactly like beaten teams. They had a lot of draws early on. But Liverpool went there and won 2-0. And, you know, Luis Diaz with a very brave header for the first one, which the referee looked at could have been a red card. The goal was the punishment, wasn't it? And then got a penalty, which Mo Salah dispatched. And then Liverpool, obviously, keeping the pressure on City, have then gone midweek and backed it up with a very good win. Yeah. I mean, a real big win at Arsenal. You know, Arsenal being in great form, had only lost 2 home games, I think, and that's the teams above them. We were in the studio watching Robbie and other people talking about it, and they were very buoyant before the game, and they looked like they felt confident.
Well, that's what happens when you are always buoyant when you've got the best goalkeeper in England. You're always going to be buoyant, aren't you? But that's the margins, though, isn't it? It is, you know, the first goal Liverpool scored in this game, Ramsey should be saving.
That's got to save.
And they're the margins, aren't they? They're the things, you know. Liverpool, Arsenal can have a great first half, but it only takes one thing like that, and you know,
even in the second half, you know, Thiago back pass to Lacazette, and if he just knocks it in, Arsenal ahead, and he turned away. I think Alisson made his bottle go, and he turned away and passed it back, and then Alisson makes the save from Odegaard. But if normally, because he's on his foot, if he skips and just clips it back, it's 1-0. And then it might be a different game. Arsenal, confidence, Liverpool have to chase it, but once you go behind to Liverpool, it's very difficult.
There's nothing down for you, is there? Obviously got the second, and obviously now we've got proper title race now, a point in it. City obviously went to Palace on Monday night, 0-0. Had, you know, lots and lots of chances.
Just the most shots ever without a goal or something.
Lots and lots of chances, hit the post a couple of times, but that's what can happen to City. You know, this is where, and I know it's few and far between, but that they are the games where you think that's when they need a striker.
It's that weird, I think, that Man City, because I look at Man City and think they're the best team in the Premier League. The way you watch them, But actually, it's weird because I think Liverpool are stronger.
I think they've got a better team.
Do you?
I
think
said
City
that all season.
I think City are better, but I think Liverpool.
But don't you think that would say?
But what I would say is, I don't see Liverpool don't tend to drop points in those games.
But that's what I'm saying, isn't it? I mean, there's a case. It's that sort of thing of like. It is that thing of like, it's almost like the Messi-Ronaldo argument. Yeah, you know, Messi's far more the better footballer, but Ronaldo has an effectiveness about him, and Liverpool are the same. City are a much better football team, have much classier players, you know, can stroke it round all day, 78% possession. Liverpool are just effective.
Yeah,
effective. They do the same thing, and they do it so well.
Been an incredible few years, but I know last year was last year.
And now they're getting to a stage where they've got, like, obviously, it was Mane, it was Firmino, it was Mane, it was Salah, and now it's Jota, and now it's Diaz, and it's like...
Salah didn't even start.
No, that's what I'm saying. So now they can play different players, and those players are just effective in those big moments, where City as a team, much better, pass, someone will be at the end of it. But Liverpool have just got that clinical edge, and obviously, if things go the way the TV companies want, it'll all come down to that game, you know, at the Etihad, or certainly, you know, it could do anyway. That's the big date now, and think about that game, that all the pressure. Jurgen Klopp's got this very impressive way of turning the pressure on the team he's playing against. I've always find the way he talks makes it seem like there's no pressure on his side, and the pressure is all on the opposition. And we'll see where we are when we come in. You know, both teams have got, apart from that game, both teams have got quite reasonable run-ins. I mean, to be fair to both teams, anyone they play looks like a reasonable run-in. Liverpool, I think Liverpool have got to play Man United away, haven't they?
At home. Isn't it United at home?
That's what I'm saying. They've got to play United at home, isn't it?
Yeah,
so, going to be very...
City away, United at home.
It's going to be very, very interesting.
It's down to the wire again, isn't it? 9 games to go, you know. And City are that. It's weird because I look at Liverpool and see the fixtures and just think they'll win that. City, you look and go,
there is that. There is, and maybe that's just our mentality.
Our mentality looking at it.
But that Palace game, you did think that beforehand. You thought
this was what. Where if it was Liverpool, I'd expect them to win that.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So maybe I'm undermining my own argument there. But them two have been fantastic for a few seasons, haven't they? So no one should really be surprised.
But obviously that game last night was an opportunity for Arsenal to really put a stamp on 4th place. Because they've still got games in hand, and obviously that would be the toughest game in hand. But obviously with Manchester United beating Tottenham on Saturday, that it's still. See,
I still fancy United to get there, even though they do stop-start. They're a weird side. They've got good players, got great forwards, and yet they're not convincing at all. United.
No,
but I still feel like they'll just get there.
Isn't it interesting this season? Though we do generally have a race for 4th place, which is all of the teams are unconvincing. You know, Arsenal, yes, they've been on a great run, but don't look anywhere near the likes of Liverpool. You know, Manchester United beat Tottenham, and Tottenham have been on a in and out kind of run, and you know, but Man United a hat-trick from Ronaldo,
brilliant goals,
and 3 great goals, and they get the win, and you know, Tottenham then go to Brighton, you know, in the week, beat them 2-0, and they're back in it, and you just look at
Tottenham got Arsenal in a few weeks.
So you look at that top 4. That top 4 situation, and you can't even rule out West Ham. No. Obviously, they play Villa at home on Sunday. Got a good 2-1 win after. You know, Villa have been good of recent, so that's a really good win as well. And suddenly you've got a real good race for the top 4. But all 4 of those teams are not massively convincing.
Can we rule out, if you're looking at it, can we rule out Wolves? Wolves are 2 points behind Spurs. Spurs have got a game in hand, of course. Arsenal in the box seat. Arsenal are 2 points ahead. A point ahead of Manchester United. They've got 2 games in hand. They're in the box seat, right? Yeah. But like I said, one of their games in hand, I think, is Spurs. Oh, it can't be Spurs. Talking to Kieran, and in fact it is Spurs. He said we've Liverpool, Spurs, and there was another one. He went, we've got games in hand, but they are hard games. Well, we've had the first one and lost it. Yeah. Spurs is obviously one of the games in hand on Manchester United. If they lose that, and Spurs have got a good record against Arsenal, by the way, in the last few years.
Harry Kane is back.
Kane's back firing, and he scored again at Brighton. Great goal at Brighton. You know, typical Harry Kane finish. Yeah, it's difficult to rule them out, isn't it? Like you just said, West Ham there, you know, we saw Yarmolenko score at the weekend, 4-0, and then Villa have Villa are a bit hit and miss, aren't they? But it's a tight game. They've won it. They beat Wolves the other week with a tight game, beat them 1-0 the week before or whatever. So West Ham are durable. They're not going anywhere. Yeah. They're on the coattails. So I think you're right. We have got a season where, in fact, everywhere. It's one of those seasons where normally you go, it's done, and that's kind of done. Well, the relegation's not Norwich, I think, are probably done. But the relegation... God,
well, you're saying, I mean, obviously Wolves came to Goodison, got a 1-0 win. That's 2 in a row for them, obviously after beating Watford last week as well.
Another clean sheet.
So they look to me like a team that defensively looks spot on. And it's whether they get the first goal in a lot of games. So
Wolves are like top on, like, there's lots of things with the first and second defensively in the Premier League. And it is, you're right, it's the goals, isn't it? I mean, Jimenez, as good a focal point as he is, I think he's only got something like 7 goals this season, 8 goals. He's the man back to goal. A lot goes through him, but they are durable as well, Wolves. So, and they've got Leeds at home, you know, later this week, Friday night. So, you know, they beat them.
Yeah.
You know, if they were to beat Leeds, they jump above Spurs and West Ham because they're playing it.
Yeah.
They're playing before them.
Yeah.
You know, they're on then 49 points, 3 points behind Arsenal, albeit Arsenal have 3 games in hand, but so you can't rule them out. And they're defensively probably better than United, West Ham, Spurs.
Yeah.
Aren't they defensively? The others maybe get a few more goals. So.
It is. That interesting because we're all focused on the top 4. But obviously all those teams are all in contention for just the European spaces in general. One of them will have to miss out.
But there's a big gap now, isn't there? We got Wolves on 46 in 8th with 46 points and Villa 9th on 36 points.
Yeah.
And
so it's going to be one of those teams is going to be unfortunate, and you know. But I wouldn't rule anything out, like you just said there. Wolves are definitely in there. I don't think they'll get top 4, but you can't rule them out for one of the European spots.
No.
At all.
Well, I mean, what did you... we will move on, but I mean, we were at Goodison on Sunday and we saw what they were like, and I wasn't overly impressed with the way they went forward or whatever, but I just thought an element of control and defensively, Wolves to me just look like a team that knows exactly what to do.
Yeah.
And that's what's good.
That's what's would love to be in their
them.
position. Put it that just in terms of like you look at them and think to yourself, if they can get like one more player, like a number 10 or a winger who comes off inside or something like that, and they'd be really going for it, like really
shows you though what you can do if you're allowed to build
good players and you organise and you're allowed to build.
You're sure.
So really good race. And obviously at the other end, Saturday afternoon, Burnley went to Brentford in an interesting conundrum for us.
But it was going great till the 85th minute.
See, I didn't mind Brentford winning, I must admit. Brentford got the goals. Christian Eriksen involved again.
Great
Tony
ball.
getting another 2. That's 5 in 2 games. I think it is.
It is, yeah. He's got 9 goals. The ball by Eriksen was fabulous for the first goal. It was like 5 minutes left, 1-0. You're thinking, I'm all right with this. Games in hand, lots of games in hand.
Just shows you though, doesn't it? Eriksen, someone took a risk and they're getting the rewards. He's got like 4 assists or so, whatever it is.
We know he's a fantastic footballer.
No, I know, but it was whether he was ever going to get...
It's a huge risk. Yeah, but I suppose to have a player like that, what happened to him? All the medical stuff he'll have had to go through. If they look and say it was because of demands on your body and it was electrolytes to your heart, which didn't have a heart attack. He had a cardiac arrest, which means whatever the electrolytes didn't get to it. Heart attacks is a different thing. It's a build-up of stuff, and that's obviously dangerous. He had a cardiac arrest and they got him going again quickly in the defib. Daley Blind plays with the same thing in his heart in Holland and plays for Netherlands and for Ajax and a few other people. It's obvious. Listen, the risk's on him, isn't it? Yeah. The risk is him, is mentally being able to go and do it, which is incredible. The mental strength to be able to do it. And I read a piece about Fabrice Muamba the other day, actually, in The Athletic. It's 10 years since it happened to him, and obviously he didn't get the opportunity to play again. He has a different thing. He had a genetic thing with his heart, so he wasn't able to do it. But they've obviously looked at all the medical stuff. He's trained and done all of that. They've monitored him and said, with this thing, that will never happen again. We'll obviously regularly monitor you. Yeah. and Brentford have gone. There's a top, I wouldn't say world-class footballer, but a top European footballer who's 30. When are Brentford ever going to, without being disrespectful to them, when are they ever going to get it? And for him, he's thinking,
and obviously,
loves the Premier League.
They've got, obviously, massive Danish ties, with the owners and the manager and stuff.
The link up with Midtjylland.
And he's just been called back up to the Denmark squad, which is brilliant.
Well, it's an unbelievable story. But back to the game, fantastic cross. And then the penalty, Tony's gone through and the lads jumped into the back of him, took him out and then goes to the ref. I get the ball, I swear to you. No, mate, you were nowhere, you weren't even in the same postcode as the ball. It'd gone. You know, the red card.
That basically looks like Brentford are safe, doesn't it now?
You know what? I don't know because the games aren't very good.
I know, but I get
games.
that. But what I would say is, though, when you get someone like Eriksen and you get someone like Tony in form,
they've got 30 points, right? We'll do it from our perspective. Everton have got 3 games in hand on them, right? And would go above them. We'd have to win games of football, of course.
Yeah.
Would go above them.
Difficult prospect.
If Everton won the games in hand. And Everton have still got to play. Brentford, to me, I think they've got one game where I'd look and go, good chance of winning that. Which I think they've got Watford at home. I think, other than that, the fixtures aren't straightforward.
Okay. They've got to win 2 games.
I'd rather be where they are than where Everton are.
They've got to win 2 games of football, let's be honest.
And with, like you just said, with Ivan Toney, they've got goals in them. And with Christian Eriksen, they've got someone who... And, let's be honest, the defence at times has been all right for them. There's been some games they've been thingied in, but... So, they've got it. Listen,
2 wins in a row, massive.
Huge. You win 2 games in a week, it's unbelievable.
Massive time to win. And obviously for Burnley, it's another defeat, and obviously the games.
See, with my thing with Burnley is, because they've done it so many times, you naturally go, they'll be all right. The thing, what I would say, is they're not winning football matches.
You lack a lot of quality.
The quality's gone because Sean Dyche is not being given any real backing at any time, which is correct, but I know it is where they are, right? But they've won 3 games of football all season. Yeah. And you're asking them to win 4 or 5 to stay up. They're on 21 points.
Yeah.
Now, you're asking them in the last 11 games to win 5, another 5, another 4 games, to try and stay up. More than they've won in 27.
Yeah.
You know, when people are going, when I've said Everton need 4 or 5 wins, we've only won 6 all season, but we've won double what Burnley have won with more quality. So it's going to be difficult. I'm not saying they can't because they've done it so many times. So of course they're strong, but all I would say is the other week they had lots of games and people were going, and they haven't won. They beat Spurs and it was fortuitous. Other than that, they've not won a game in about the last 5. And they've lost a couple of ones. They had like Watford at home, you'd expect them to beat, and they drew. Yeah. This was another tight one that I think they needed the point from, and they've lost to it. So I'm not ruling them out because I don't think you can rule anyone out. But for them, it's difficult.
Yeah, it's difficult. And obviously, Leeds played Norwich. They got a 2-1 win, last-minute winner after Norwich pulled it back to 1-1 late on, which would have been a great result certainly for us if it had been 1-1. But again, the likes of them and Brentford, you look at them and they're just. I know Everton have got games in hand, but because they've now got the points, it doesn't matter, does it? They've got the points. They're closer to that target
If Everton were to beat Newcastle, then Everton would be a point behind Leeds with 2 games in hand and a much better goal difference. So Leeds are still well in it.
Yeah, I think they are.
They go to Wolves. I'll be honest. I think Wolves.
I think they are still in it, and obviously it was a good win for. Let's be honest. They beat Norwich. Last minute winner.
Joe Gellart.
Yeah, brilliant for him. Should have been signed for Everton.
Close to sign and went there.
First win for Jesse Marsh. Really good. But I think the real sort of bad result from our point of view is Watford going to Southampton and getting a 2-1 win. And that first goal, I mean, I'll be honest, that first goal had happened in, let me say, I don't know. I don't want to dig out any league, so I'm just going to say if that goal was scored in some kind of film about illegal betting, it wouldn't have surprised me. That's all I'm going to say on that. It was horrendous.
I think the way to sum it up is calamitous.
Yeah.
Without getting anyone into trouble.
Like, if the lights had suddenly gone off as well, it wouldn't surprise me. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, what I would say is the first week, because this is, no, you're right, but for Watford, to be fair, that's a great result. And they've been all right away, one at Villa, one at Southampton.
I think they've got goals in them. It's just the defence.
We'll see whether they can keep it going. I doubt it myself, but we'll see.
But that's the thing, though, isn't it? It's like, the teams at the bottom, they are going to pick up wins. Everyone's going to pick up a win it's whether you pick up a win every third game or every fourth game or every fifth game. This is Everton's real problem at the moment, is that those are the teams. I mean, we had a head start on all of them, obviously. But all those teams started winning one every 4. Some of them started winning one every 3. Yeah. Where Everton are still, Everton are winning one every 10.
Well, it's one at the moment.
Well, it is, isn't it? And that's the problem. Yeah. So if Everton keep going in the same trend, we'll get relegated.
100%. I just looked ahead to the next round of Premier League fixtures. Liverpool, Watford at Anfield.
So obviously FA Cup this weekend. There are games, obviously. Wolves are playing.
Wolves, Leeds. There's sporadic games, but I'm just looking at like the week back when most teams are playing, because Watford aren't playing this weekend because they should have been playing us down there. I don't think Burnley are playing this weekend because they should have had Southampton. Yeah. So the first weekend back after the international break, Liverpool, Watford, Brighton, Norwich, Burnley, Man City, Chelsea, Brentford, and Leeds v Southampton.
And Everton, West Ham.
Or West Ham, Everton on the Sunday.
And then Burnley, Everton on the Wednesday.
Well, I'm just talking about that first weekend back. So that first weekend back, and Newcastle go to Spurs. I know we think Newcastle are out of it. I'm just saying, right now, so that weekend could be a pivotal weekend as well in terms of, if someone can get something from somewhere. But no, it is going on everywhere at the top and the bottom of the table, isn't it? And
but let's just look at the top of the table. Man City
a point ahead of Liverpool, and that's, it's incredible where we are for the title race.
And if you just look at Liverpool, the wins. They've won 9 in a row in all competitions now.
I know. Well, City have won 22 overall, Liverpool have won 21. Liverpool have got a better goal difference. Liverpool have lost less than Man City. Lost 2, City have lost 3. Then comes Chelsea on 59. And then it's, Arsenal then on 51. And we've talked about that, the race for the top 4, which is there. Yeah. And then you go to the bottom half of the table. And you're looking at the bottom, Norwich, like I say, 17 points. 29 games. Burnley 21 points and 27. Watford and Everton. Watford played 29, got 22 points. Everton played 26, got 22. Leeds 29 games, played 26. And then Brentford, Newcastle on 30, 31.
Look at Brighton.
And look at Brighton.
Form.
Brighton were flying at one stage, and people were saying, could they get Europe this season? They haven't. I think, like you say, they beat Everton.
Dan Ashworth left, and they went.
Dan Ashworth left and he went, but Dan Burns left and it's gone. Yeah. So, they've slipped, haven't they, massively.
But they've already done it.
Well, they've established the points, haven't they?
They've already done enough.
So they've established the points, so they'll get another. Let's hope they win the next game because they've got Norwich. So
there you go.
Interesting races all over the gaff.
There it is, yeah.
From our perspective, please just win 4 games of football.
As said, we're top of our mini league.
We are.
Which is the bottom 4.
Which is the bottom 4, so don't get a trophy for that, though.
No.
I'll settle for winning it and getting no trophy, though, I promise you. But what are we looking at then? We need to win every 3 games.
I don't know. What points tally do you think will keep teams up?
I said 35 a while ago, and I still think it.
Yeah, I do think you've got to aim for 35.
I think if you look at Watford,
4 wins,
Watford getting
and a draw,
Watford getting 13 points from their last 9 games. You don't know because Brentford just got 6 in a week. Yeah. Burnley getting 14 more points than what they've got now from their games. I don't know. But Everton getting 12 more points, 13 more points from their games.
That's it, isn't it?
It's when you're right. It's when you get to Brentford.
It could potentially be the lowest ever.
It could be.
Well, one of the lowest ever for the bottom for the bottom 3. Hopefully, for our point of view, that means that we get enough to
just scrape, which is a disgrace.
It is a disgrace. The whole thing's a disgrace.
It is. There you go. There you go. Yeah, that's it for the Premier League. So let us know what you think in the comment section about Chelsea. Yeah. Do you think it's the end? I can't see it personally. And who do you think will prevail in the relegation battle? And who is finishing top 4?
Make sure you check out the rest of that video,
Yeah.
Last Fan Standing.
The link is in the description. Yeah. Check it out. Some interesting debates on about Bakary Saka as well, so have a look at that one. We'll see you later.